New World Patch 5.0.1 is here, and it actually includes some relatively big fixes that are much needed right now. I wasn't overly thrilled about the balance of power video, but this patch actually goes a long way to sort of satisfy my urges and desires. Okay, the things that I actually need to be fixed quite quickly. So let's jump in, let's talk about it. So here we are, the patch is actually coming tonight if you are in Pacific time, but pretty much everybody more east than that, it's actually going to be tomorrow. For example, in the UK, it's coming I think at 7 AM and the downtime is going to be 1.5 hours. And one of the main things that this is bringing is that it is bringing the Springtide Bloom, which you're going to want to pay attention to because you get as-off inductors, chromatic seals, and some cool patterns and items and stuff like that. However, if you've been here for like the last year, it's probably more of the same, just, you know, updated a little bit. I'm assuming that will start straight away. And then on for the fixes. So the first one is that they're actually decreasing the patch updates again. It was getting a little bit out of hand because it was going up to like 9 gigabytes just for little small updates. But they say that they've addressed that again. Obviously, we've seen that before and it came back. So we'll see if this one actually holds. Then there's basically two fixes to crashes. There's one that's affecting the client crash, which is basically your computer. And there's one that's affecting the server side, which the whole servers are crashing, which is definitely happening on Nisa, by the way. And they're both fixed. We don't know how common that is. We don't know if there's more, but they're fixing at least one of each, which is good. They're then fixing an issue where the player could be stuck in a falling state. Weirdly, personally, not seen that one. They are fixing an issue that caused player characters' bodies to stop animating when falling off ledges, while already in the middle of an upper body animation, such as spellcasting. I don't know if I've seen that one, but definitely in Arena, I've had the moment where I've been falling off the ledge and then getting back on and then falling off, and there was just literally nothing I could do about it, so maybe it's that, maybe it's just something else. They fixed an issue with the Winter Rune Forge, so that the puzzles weren't showing up. Well, that's what was happening. They've fixed that apparently. I wouldn't know because I did it twice, got my Fury, and I haven't gone back. And then onto the bulk of the changes that are sort of more important, at least in my opinion. And these are the changes to the Slayer script. If you don't know by now, Slayer script is the thing that they added in Season 5, which completely reworks the combat. And honestly, I was possibly a little bit harsh on them in the Balance of Power video. I still think that a lot of the things that they were speaking about don't really need to happen and possibly shouldn't have happened just yet. But whatever. Here, they're actually going to be fixing a lot of the main issues. Not every main issue. Nothing really about desync, but I think desync has sort of simmered down a little bit, probably since the play numbers have quietened down as well. But okay, let's just jump in. They fixed an exploit for the spear weapon that required weapon swapping and dodging to gain extra damage. I have a feeling that that's the one where you could basically force javelin when you didn't actually have javelin. I don't actually know for sure. I don't know every single exploit because I don't do any, and there's no point really explaining what I think they are when they're fixed. But okay, I think that one's fixed. They fixed several exploits for the bow that required the use of third-party software to gain extra damage. Now, this third-party software, probably just macros. I actually don't know what the exploits were, but people, I say often, not very often, but some people, the very hardcore sweaty players, will use macros, which are basically exact timed button presses to create effects that they shouldn't otherwise be able to do. Again, not something that I personally would do because I don't actually think it's allowed, but you know, I don't know if they can even track it. But the bow, one reason I was against it being nerfed recently is because there's so much like exploits and stuff like that with the bow at the minute. I don't know how strong it even is. But okay, that's one for the bow, or several apparently. Fixed an exploit for the bow that required action cancelling to gain an extra damage. So this one I do know because I could actually repeat it myself. Basically, if you were doing pen shot, and I think probably another ability, maybe the poison one, and maybe that's why it was disabled, you could basically spam pen shot and do like rapid fire balls. I think that's the one they fixed there. They fixed an exploit where the character movement velocity was incorrectly inherited during certain range attacks, allowing the player to reposition while crouched at a higher movement speed. I'm not 100% sure what this one is. I don't want to explain what it might be, but there's basically one where you crouch and you dodge and you go further. It might be that, but it's not actually during the ranged attack itself, so I don't know if that's what this one is. I said I don't know every single exploit because I don't do them, nor should you. Even though they obviously shouldn't be in the game, you still shouldn't do them. You know what you should and shouldn't do, so come on. Fixed an issue that caused a forced delay after casting the Ice Gauntlet's Ice Storm mastery ability, preventing blocking actions. Don't know about that one. Okay. They have fixed an issue that caused the Hatchet's Berserking Purge ability to not cleanse crowd control effects on the player, such as stuns. This obviously makes sense, it's an intended effect. I don't necessarily think the Hatchet needs a buff right now, but this isn't really a buff, it's a fix, but technically it's going to make the hatchet a little bit better. They have fixed an issue that caused the sword and shield weapon to allow an uncharged heavy attack as the third action in a light attack combo chain. Literally didn't know that one, not heard of it, surprised it existed. I've been playing a lot of sword and shield, never triggered it, I don't think, so okay. The next one, if I'm honest, is just sort of funny. They fixed an issue that caused Cunning and Stalwart Heart Runes of Stormform to explode and cause damage at the end of their ability. They were basically exploding like it was the unstable Heart Rune variant. Bit stupid, but they fixed it. And then this really is the big one for me, because this is one of the key pillars that I sort of really need to be fixed right now. In fact, they fixed a lot of the stuff that I really needed to be fixed. The next thing I would like them to have a look at really is probably desync and maybe the movement, because I don't like the movement, but the desync is awful. Getting a little bit like better, I think, maybe because there's less people playing, not 100% sure why, but anyway, I should talk about this one. You'll know this, right? You'll have seen the meme videos. If you were shooting with a ranged weapon like a bow or a musket, or sometimes even like the fire staff, any projectile, you would aim and the shot would just shoot off in a completely random direction. It was making bow and musket, and to some extent fire staff, sort of unplayable depending on how affected you were by it. They fixed it. Let's hope, you know, it doesn't come back. I never want to see it again. It was stupid. I hated it. But they fixed it, so okay, let's see it in the live version. Apparently they fixed an issue where Tempest Fury was not always spinning and getting its extra spins. I've been playing Tempest Fury a little bit. It's not too strong, but you know, I haven't seen that, but fair enough. They're fixing the Life Taker, which is the Void Gauntlet artifact. If you don't know why it was disabled, it was basically doing a damage type that no weapon does. It was like unique to it. It wasn't just void damage. It was like a special type of void damage that couldn't be blocked, wasn't resisted, etc. So they disabled it. Now they fixed it. They have fixed an issue with crafting, which if I'm honest, I don't think I've done any crafting, by the way, in season 5. So not really seen it, but I know a lot of people complain that you literally just couldn't craft some stuff. And they fixed that, and you know, good. Now this one we did know. On the 1st of April, they basically got rid of the, can't remember the name of them, the little baggies that had gold in them and also had your gypsum that you got from like harvesting or whatever it was at the time. You now get the gypsum to be behind the major corruption breaches, which if I'm honest, I don't really want to do. But, you know, if you do them every day, maybe you'll be happy with this. You know, you can get that to a max of 3 times a day. You're going to get some alchemy, some crafting materials, some potions, and some gold. Like, you know, if you want to do corruption breaches, crack on, you'll get these. I said on my stream today that I really wanted 3 things to be resolved. I wanted the Life Taker back, I wanted the bow to be fixed, and I wanted these projectiles not to be shooting everywhere. Now that they've done that in this patch, I can sort of relax a little bit. I'm happy that they've acted sort of semi-quickly. It's been 2 weeks, but it's sort of quickly enough. I could do with maybe a change to desync, because that still feels pretty bad in my opinion, but as I said, it's getting a little bit better. But yeah, they fixed some of the major things here. Now it's time to work on making that combat feel a lot better. There's a lot of little things that just don't happen, like weapon swapping, potions seem to take forever, like you actually take a potion but you can't do anything. There's loads of little things. I'm not going to call it perfect, but these were the major ones. They've addressed them, fair enough. Now, there is a giant omission here. You might be wondering what happened to all the things that they spoke about in the Balance of Power. Well, in the Balance of Power video, they actually said May, and you may not be surprised to learn that we're currently in April. I thought the May might have been a bit of a misspeak, but no, I actually think they're doing the Balance update itself in May. Sort of begs the question, why would you do the video like 2, 3, 4 weeks before it actually happens? I don't know why they would do that video. And the problem is, we're now wondering like, well, you've done a patch, like why is some of it not here, right? Is it really that hard to change that spear ability, etc.? Maybe, who knows? Obviously it's not their priority. These bug fixes were. Next time, if it was me, I'd leave the Balance of Power video till like just before the patch was actually happening. But at least this way they can get the community feedback and maybe they'll change some of the stupid ones. I will be streaming as soon as that patch goes live. I will be on twitch.tv/JOddity. Be there or don't. It's your call, right? Makes sense. Live your life. But what I do very much appreciate is everybody who turns up, and of course my Patreons. If you want to support me, that's truly the best way of doing so. For now, I hope you have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.